Welcome to this first YouTube tutorial of me in Procreate, and I want to show you how you can create a stack of teacups, and you will learn a lot of it. I think you will learn a little of layering, of shadowing, and of creating a sketch. First, let's create a new canvas. Tap the plus here, tap new canvas, the plus here, and we will create a canvas of 3000 pixels by 3000 pixels. Tap create, and that's our first step. Then I want to create a nice, a kind of neat cup. And when you imagine a cup, there's an oval, and there's an oval on the ground, but they have to be aligned. So I want to use a line to have it perfectly aligned. So you can go to the wrench here, go to drawing guide, then edit drawing guide and click assisted drawing. With assisted drawing you can only create vertical and horizontal lines, and I just want to create a vertical line. You can choose a grid size. Well, I think this will do. It's 252 or 260, doesn't matter. Just choose something. And then click done. If you want to change the color, it's not really important, but you can tap on the top and that will be the grid color. Click done and that's it. Then I just want to create a vertical line. That's all. So just a vertical line. And then I want to add a new layer. So click the layer menu, click plus, and the new layer won't be assisted, so we can draw anything on that. So we can go to the wrench again, we can click drawing guide here, and then the grid will disappear. That's it. Now let's create the top of the cup. And for the brush I will use a sketch brush. I've created a colored pencil brush, but you can use a sketch brush. Doesn't matter exactly. I choose for a grayish color. And first I will start with creating an ellipse. When you hold it like this, it will snap and then it says ellipse created. Then you'll see here edit shape. And with the edit shape I can move it around, but I can also grab one of the dots and manipulate with it. So I place the blue dots here on my line, so on the center, and you can edit the shape a little so it's a little more flat. You can make it smaller, but the real important thing is to have these two on the center line, on the line in the center. When you tap, you will get out of this edit tool, and then we will create a new oval and a new ellipse. Then edit shape, then move it, the blue dots in the line, on the line in the center, just in line with the other ones, and you can manipulate, but I think this is quite okay. Then I want to create the sides of the cup, but they are smooth and symmetrical. So it's really important to create the same shape. Well, if you want a really painterly look, it doesn't matter, but I think it's nice to have them quite in place. So go to the wrench again, then go to drawing guide, then go to edit drawing guide, and then go to symmetry. And then click done, because when you draw here on this side, it will appear on the other side too. And you can choose, of course, you can draw on this side, you can draw on that side. For me, it doesn't matter, but choose one side. So let's create the side of the cup. So in that way it's almost symmetrical. And then I want to create the ear of the cup, but I don't want to create two of them. So we have to turn off the symmetry tool, so turn it off. And now I can add the ear. Well, there's something strange going on. Go to the wrench again, go to drawing guide, go to edit drawing guide, choose options and tap this one and tap that one. I think, yeah, that's okay. And well, you can clean it when you're wrong. You did something wrong, but you can also let it, because the sketch won't be in our finished project. Okay, tap the brush again and then create an ear. Well, no. If you don't like it, well, no problem, of course. You can manipulate. I think this looks nice. And when you think you want to alter the dimensions a little, you can do the following. First, let's get rid of the line in the middle. Just tap the layer 1, the assisted one, and then you can tap the layer 2, that's the sketch layer, then click the arrow and you can choose distort, and with distort you can alter the dimensions a little and choose the uniform tool to move it around, to make it a little smaller, because I think when we stack them up it's nice that we have some space. And look, when you think this is disturbing, of course you can make your screen a little smaller. And that's a nice sketch. Tap the arrow again and you will get out of this menu. So this is the basic sketch. We won't use it in the final project, but this will help us. First, we are going to create the first cup. Tap the layer menu, tap the plus, then drag that one underneath the sketch layer, so not the layer 1 with just a line. And we're going to create the first cup. For the brush, we will use the monoline brush, and the monoline brush is under calligraphy. So choose the calligraphy, choose monoline, and that's a brush that's, well, it's compact, it's non-transparent, and that works great. For the color, we will use the bluish color, and now just work on this part, let it snap. You can also, like this, if you want to edit the shape a little, you can tap edit and then you can move it around. So you can do it very precise, but I think this is okay. Then tap on the screen again to get out of that menu. Then the sides of the cup. When you hold it, you can also edit shape and create some straighter lines. Tap the screen to get out of it. Then I fill the front side of the cup with some color, not the inside, because that will be confusing. And then I create the ear here. You can give it some thickness. And when you want to erase some things, of course you can erase, but it's really handy to give it a little attention, because that will help you in the end. Maybe a smaller brush size. I have a brush size now from 12% and the opacity is set to 100%. This looks okay. Well, a nice base. I think I want it a little higher, just a little. So the cup, the dimensions of the cup, some more narrow, somewhat higher. So there, for that I can use the arrow again, go to distort and alter it a little. So this is okay. Tap the arrow again. And of course, if you want to alter the form, you can do it, but I think this will do. The sketch layer can be turned off. We don't need it anymore. And this is the base for the cups. Okay, well, let's create, or I want to correct this edge a little, and then we're ready. Am I in the right layer? Yes, I am. It's always nice to check. This is better. Okay, well, then we want to create the next cup. And the next cup will be a different color, but the same form. So we can go to that layer, the blue one, then go swipe it to the left, duplicate, and now there are two. The next one will be in this one, so this one will be in front, so choose the one here on the bottom, and then you can use the move tool, the arrow, and you can move it. First, let's give it another color. Let's choose the purple one, no, the pinkish one. You can drag the color in, and now we have our nice basic form here. I want to flip this one. I want the ear to be on the other side. So let's go to the move tool, then flip horizontal, and then we can place this one in the other cup. If you want to tilt the cup, you can use the green thing here, the green dot, and you can place this one inside the other one. But when you go outside this one, that's not okay. You have to place it inside, because that will be a little logical, a little more logic. So you have to search for a nice spot, and that's it. Okay, tap the arrow again, and now let's create a orangey one. So go to the layer menu, click duplicate here on this one, so swipe to the left, click duplicate, choose the one on the bottom, and then click the arrow. Look, let's go for an orangey color, give it an orangey color, and then let's place it, and I want the ear to be on this side, so that's okay. Let's place it inside the other cup, tilt it, see what looks right. I think this is okay. Tap the arrow again, and now we're going for a new one. So again, swipe to the left, click duplicate, tap the bottom one, click the arrow, move it, and let's give it a lighter blue color. Like this. And for this one, I want to flip it back. So I want the ear to be on the other side. So click the arrow, click flip horizontal, and then place it in the orangey one. You can tilt it again. Look for a nice spot. A logical spot. Look, when it's going through that orangey one, it will not be a logical placement. And of course you can make it a little smaller, so it will be a smaller cup. Oh, let's go to uniform, because otherwise the dimensions will change, and that's not what I want. So I think this looks okay. Are we sure? No, it's a little out of balance, so I have to manipulate a little. I think this could work. All right, well, then I want to get rid of the lines that you shouldn't see. And for that, I'm going to every layer where I have those disturbing lines. Let's start with the blue one. Go to the blue layer and go to the eraser. Hold it, and then it will be a monoline eraser, and that will work the best, I think. And we can get rid of the line where you shouldn't see one. Then the same for the next one, for the pinkish one. So go to the pinkish one and erase the lines you shouldn't see. And then go to the orangey one. That's a little too much. You can also alter the brush size a little, of course, like this. Well, this is a nice base, and I think we can now make other illustrations on the cups. So I start with the one here, the blue one. So tap the layer menu, tap layer 3 and go for the white, for example, but you can do whatever you want. I want to create illustrations on this one, but I don't want to go outside the edges of the cup. So we can use alpha lock, and with alpha lock you can just draw on the pixels you ever made on this layer. So if you don't made a layer if you don't made any pixels here, you can draw it here, because look, when I use a red one here, you won't see it. When I use a red one here, you can see it. So let's choose the white, like I said before, and create nice dots. And use your fantasy a little. When I let it snap and tap with one finger, it will snap to a circle. When I let it go, it will snap to an ellipse. So let it snap like this. So close the form. Let it snap to a circle or an ellipse, and then place your finger. Snap, place. And then it will continuously go to a circle. This looks good. This looks fun. And if you want to know the brush size, it really doesn't matter, but the brush size is 12% and the opacity is 100%. I think that's okay. Alright, then maybe you want to create some other illustrations on this one. Or maybe let it snap to perfect lines, for example. Really, this should be fun. I think this is okay. Let's go to the pinkish one. Go to the layer menu, go to layer 3 and then click alpha lock again, and let's create some nice forms. I want to add lines and I will take a brush size, let me see, no, that's too small, a little bigger, yeah, that's okay. My brush size is now set to 50% and the opacity is still 100%. That's a little too much. Okay, looks good I think. Let's go to the orangey one and again choose alpha lock to make sure you don't go outside those lines. It is not okay, of course. Let me see. And maybe add some dots to this cup, maybe with a reddish color. We'll go for a red. Then we'll add it, oh, sorry, I will add it to the color menu and then add some dots. Create a little more playful look. But you can let your fantasy go, of course. Alright, well then the blue one. Let's choose a bluish color and create nice patterns on this one. And of course, choose alpha lock. Otherwise, you will have some fun or frustration. And let's make some white details too. So choose the white. I want to create a nice dark edge here. This is just fun. Always just fun. Okay, there's something disturbing here. The orange cup is a little too long here, this line. I will show you. And I'm sure you have it in some places too. Well, of course we can solve it. Go to the right layer, go to the eraser, and then correct it. Maybe you have it in other places. Let's make a lighter edge there. So I go to the blue layer and then I want to create some lighter detail here. And sometimes your hand will be a little wobbly. You can always choose the right position. For me, this is a little easier. And a smaller brush size for that little corner here. Yeah, this looks funny. And look, if you make an arc, you can always let it snap. You can always choose edit shape, but I think this is okay. You can tap on the screen and then you will get out of the menu. Maybe some little details. Just play. It's really fun. Okay, I think I want to add another color to this one. What if we use red? So I will choose that one. And let's create little details there. Maybe a line on the edge too. So let's choose a little bigger brush size of 20% or so. Okay, I think we have a nice base, but now I want to get the illusion that the things are a little rounded, and we can do that by adding some shadows and some lights. First, some shadows. So I will go to that layer of the blue one, and I will go to the airbrush. I go to my big soft airbrush, but you can use a soft airbrush. I've created this one and it's on the Patreon site. It's a little bigger. So let me see. Yeah, that's okay. Of course, not a red shadow, but a kind of bluish shadow. So we go to the color, and then I darken it just by going downwards in the circle, and then I can add some shadow to that side. The brush is about 20%, my brush is about 20%, and the opacity is also 20%, and in that way I can build up the shadow. Otherwise maybe it's too dark at once. I can darken the edges a little more. Okay, well, then I can go to the pinkish layer, and let's do the same for that one. I will darken the pink, so I go to the pinkish color by just tapping it and holding it, and that will turn on my color select tool. Then I darken the color, and again I can add some shadow to the cup, and of course there will be shadow of this cup on that cup, and the sides can be darker just depending on the light source. Okay, then the orangey one. Go to the orange cup layer, tap the color, make it darker, and create some shadow. Okay, then I want to create shadows on the inside of the cups, and that's not really easy, but I'm sure you can manage it. So let's go to the brush here, tap the monoline brush, make sure you have the monoline brush, so it's under calligraphy. I've duplicated it, so for me it's under the airbrush brushes and under calligraphy, but traditionally it's under calligraphy. Then I want to create a shadow here, but I've set it to alpha lock, so I can't add shadows. but you can use some tricks. Go to the layer, then click off Alpha Lock, and first we are going to add color to this area. So tap the, well, maybe the white, but I think no. Let's make a really light blue. So I tap the light blue and I go to a lighter color, and I will add it to the color palette here. Then choose a brush size. I think a brush size of 10%. Yeah, that's okay. And now we can add this area to that layer. So that's a little too far. Make it a little bigger. Smaller brush size. The brush size is now set to 4%. And then I can color this area. I can correct this one like this. And now we can do the same on the other side, of course. If you want to make it even a smaller brush, no problem, of course. Always check. Okay, then I can set it to Alpha Lock again. And then I can go to the airbrush. I will use the big soft airbrush again, but you can use the soft airbrush that's in the Procreate program itself. And now I want to add a shadow, and again I will choose a shadow color that I've used on the outside too. So I hold it here, and then is it set to Alpha Lock? Yes. I wasn't sure. I will go to a little bigger brush size. Yeah, that's better. So the brush size is now 8%. Okay, that's it. Okay, next cup, the pinkish one. Let's create the insides. What color do we want to use? Maybe a lighter pink. So I go to the pink and lighten the color. I will add it here, and then choose the monoline brush and create the inside. Choose a small brush size because otherwise it won't work. My brush size is 2% and the opacity is still 100%. Of course, you have to switch off Alpha Lock, otherwise it won't work. Place the color there, and then on the other side the same. The edge here is really small, so I have to choose another brush for that. Close the shape, drag the color in, and then I have to correct this little one. Well, I will take the colored pencil. I think it's a little smaller, and I take a really small brush size of 1%. And when you don't have this brush, you can always go to my Patreon page and there grab it there. I think I will add it to the free posts and you can grab the colored pencil. I think this is okay, and there's a little gap here too. Well, let's correct that right away. Okay, well, then I can set it to alpha lock again. And now we can add the shadow there. Let's go for this color and let's go for the airbrush. I will go for the big soft airbrush. I will go for a brush size of 4%. Is it alpha locked? Yes. Well, otherwise you could laugh. A little bigger brush size of 10%. And I add some shadow here. And in the corner here it needs to be a little darker, so a smaller brush size will work, otherwise it will be too big and it will go on the edges here. Yeah, that's cool. And then the same on the other side. Okay, that's it. For the orangey one, we can go to the orangey layer, then we have to go to the inside and let's make a lighter orange. So grab the color, create a lighter one, let's add it to the palette, and of course I'm going to use a monoline brush again because that works the best for this job. Click the alpha lock, click off the alpha lock, otherwise it won't work. It doesn't work. Create a closed shape. And then drag in the color. And the same on the other side. Sometimes it's really handy to enlarge it to see what you're doing. Drag the color in. This looks good. Okay, well then click Alpha Lock again and go to the airbrush tool. Then we need a darker color, so maybe that color. So grab it there. And the brush size is 10%. Okay, well, the inside of this one. And I think I like a purplish inside. Would be lovely. What about this color? I will add it to the color palette. And of course, we have to go to the layer menu. Then go to that cup. And we have to set off Alpha Lock. Let's go to the monoline brush. Make sure you close the shape and drag the color in. And then I want to add some shadow again. So I click the Alpha Lock and then let's create a shadow color. So the same color but way darker. And then I want to work on the selection. If I use it, let's choose a soft airbrush. If I use it like this, yeah, it will work. Okay, now we have our shadows in place, but I want to add some playful highlights. And for those highlights I will go to the brushes, of course, and then go to luminance. And in the luminance there is a light pen. You can go for a brush size of 2% and of course go to a really light color, and I will use this white. And then you can add some highlights. Why doesn't it work? Of course, you have to go to the right cup. Well, it's set to this cup, so let's start with that cup. I will set it to a somewhat bigger brush size of 4%, let me see. That's better. Okay, in that way I can add some highlights. I don't want a line. Let's go to the orangey one. And of course play around, see what you like. Then I go to the pinkish one. And to the one on the floor or the ground or the table. I think we have a nice stack of cups. Okay, well, then I want two things. I want to create a shadow behind the cups, and the shadow will be the same form, of course. So we have to duplicate this whole group. Okay, you can do it like this. Go tap layer 1 or so, and then you can slide this one to the right, and this will this can create a new group. So these will go to the group if I tap the group. When you see this, you will see the group. Well, I don't want this one in. Well, doesn't matter. You can't see it. Okay. Now I want to duplicate the group. So go to the left, then duplicate, and now I have another group with all those layers. Look, they are here. Well, I can pinch these ones together, not layer 1, because I don't want that ugly line there. And now I have these in one group, but the shadow is black, of course, or darker, and I want to give them a black color. First of all, I have to, well, no, go to the black or a really dark color. I will add it to the menu here. Go to the airbrush tool. I will go to the big soft airbrush, and I will choose alpha lock. Oh, it is all already set to alpha lock. If it doesn't, you should add it to alpha lock, otherwise you will color everything black. And then just make it black. You can use a big brush size. Look. Now I have my basic shape for the shadow. This one should be underneath our cups, of course. And then I can choose the move tool, the arrow here, and I can place my shadow, for example here. You can move it around, see what you like. And of course this doesn't look like a shadow, it's way too sharp. I can go to the magic wand here and go to Gaussian blur, then click layer and then slide my pencil to the right, and this will blur. No, this doesn't blur yet. Let me show what's going wrong. Tap the layer, tap alpha lock, because alpha locked layers can't be blurred. Now, so the alpha lock is turned off. Then I go to the magic wand again, try again, tap layer and then blur it. And I will go for 12% or so. And this looks okay. This is a nice shadow. And tap the magic wand and you will get out of that menu. I want to add a little shadow underneath the cup. So go to the layer menu, tap the plus, drag it under the other shadow, and then go for the airbrush. We'll go for the normal airbrush, I think. The other one is a little too big. Let me see. Yeah, that's okay. Maybe go for 27% for the darker color, but it's always already set to that darker color. And then I can add a little shadow . Look, looks good. We're almost there. I think it's nice to have a background color. So we can go to the layer menu, go to the background, and then you can manipulate with the background color. I think I want a bluish color. Is this what I want? It's always nice to play around to see what looks nice. I think this is okay. Well, of course, then you can sign it and you can play around with all those things. And well, I hope you liked this tutorial, and I hope to see you on my Patreon channel. Every month I will make several projects and you will learn a lot of Procreate. I've 2 Patreon channels now, so maybe it's a little confusing. I have one for normal art and I have one for digital art, because I wanted to separate them. And well, you can choose. And on that digital Patreon page, the Procreate Patreon page, I will place several tutorials a month, and of course new brushes, and I think it is a lot of fun. So hope you liked it. See you next time. Maybe you can give this one a like or share it, and see you. And last thing, when you've created something like this, maybe you can post it on Facebook or Instagram and tag me. That would be wonderful. Okay, thank you very much and see you next time.